Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks here to bring you your weekly Flesh and Blood market update. Let's go. A lot of activity around Dust Till Dawn spoilers. We are not surprised. We've been talking about this. Doldrums are great times to buy. We are past the doldrums. That said, there will be a few cool opportunities coming up in the disappointment for certain classes. I hear people upset that Fi did not get any cards that were support for him. Not surprising. It's a little surprising for a supplemental set because this is the first time we haven't gotten all class support. That said, it's not that surprising considering this is a Shadow and Light Focus supplemental set, which is a new thing. I love LSS. They do this stuff every single time. There's something new about how they release a product. Every product has a new thing that happens in it that we've never seen before. It's a pattern they're consistent with, and it's fantastic. It makes it so much fun to follow what's happening and see how it impacts the market because every time there's a surprise, which is fun. So yeah, let's dive into the box prices, and then along the way we'll talk about some cards and individual things. But yeah, some classes didn't get love, which means they probably have an opportunity right now to buy their gear, and we'll talk about that. All right, let's jump in. First, Crew is down 17.17% to $82. This is unlimited boxes, $82 from $99. I don't know if it's a steal or not. I imagine this is just a slow market downward trend that we've seen before. This is just the first time it's spiked down. That does happen. Capitulation, maybe expectations that these would sell, blah, blah, blah. Slow market, quiet market, things happen. It is low. It may be worth picking up if you don't have any, and that's something you want to have at some point. Remember, it was only a few months ago. It was at the 130 range in the heat and the hype. This pattern will come back and it will run out. So looking for discounts, always a good time to jump in. Not financial advice. Mon Unlimited. This one shocked me. Down 8.47% to $54 a box from $59. Now, granted, $59 to $54 is not a huge nominal jump, but percentage-wise, 8.45 or 47% does feel like a bit of a discount, a good deal, a good steal. I actually have some of these boxes, and I might just crack them open for the singles because a lot of singles are selling very well right now, and I think it would be kind of fun to crack open an old product I haven't opened in a long time. Moving on, WTR cases, nothing of note. First edition boxes. We did see a movement in Crew first edition, up 6.19% to 532 from 501. Within the last month, it's been higher, so this is just that range bound. We've talked about this a few times. We'll look at the chart, but I don't really see anything too special here. We've talked about this range. It's good it jumped, though, because remember, we were looking to see if it would bounce off that high for the previous high area range. It looks like it did, so we'll see what it looks like on the chart and go through that. Mon is first edition box we're talking here, up 15.45% to 127. Maybe this is why Unlimited's not happening. Maybe people are more interested in the premium that comes with a large, cold foil opportunity and that sort of thing. I don't know. Are stores doing their Mon event with first edition boxes? That would be kind of cool. A little bit pricier, but not a whole lot pricier at this price range. Maybe that's what's happening to give the players a thrill of opening a cold foil. I don't know. It's a little strange, though, considering that the unlimited boxes, which you'd expect to be the thing at these release events, being overshadowed by the first edition boxes. From a pure collector and sealed product standpoint, makes total sense. But this market moves with players, and players are going to go to pre-release events this week. And I was expecting Unlimited to be the thing that jumped. Instead, it's first edition. So I hope people are out there and get to crack cold foils. I think that's awesome if stores are doing that. What a great idea if that's true. But 110 was always way too low. Not always. It was way too low. We talked about that last week. Moving down to Outsiders, down 9.88% to 73 a box. We've seen this time and time again. Post-release doldrums moving into the next set. Hype, the old set is dumped to clear space on the shelves. Nothing special there. First edition cases, Crew down 14.79% to 2304 from 27, which was at 28 and 31. We have seen this decay over weeks now. At some point, we are going to hit a bottom and it will bounce back up. I don't know if we're there yet. I could see it around the 2000 mark because that seems to be where it held up historically. Mon, honorable mention at 4.73% down at 504 from 529. Nothing really special there. It's a decrease. A little weird with the case versus box jump, but I believe there was a big premium before, and this is a tightening of the gap. I think we talked about this last week. We'll look at the charts and see what that says. Wanted to point out Dust Till Dawn is getting the pre-release dump to map that we've seen with every set. It's coming out as of like next week, week after, right? So we see this happen every time. It gets the pre-release hype, and then it comes down to map. This is a little faster than the last set, but it's worth noting, same as the others, Uprising, Dynasty, and Outsiders, how they played into the market. And I think part of it, we got to look at the fact that this is supplemental, and it's only a partially supportive supplemental. Not every class is getting something, so it's going to act a little differently than every other supplemental before. All right, let's jump into some cards. This one I have brought up so many times. I hope you guys were able to take advantage of it. I remember talking about it when it was like $38, $40, $43. And I brought it up again and again and again, as we know Levi is going to get some support. We suspect that Scab Skin Leathers is going to be good. We don't know, though. There could have been Shadow Legs. There are not Shadow Legs, and this is what happened. This is going to be the legs for Levia. I don't know how to say it, whatever. And so it popped. I do suspect most of these prices will chill out after a while, after the hype. If you have an extra pair, if you did go ahead and buy them, I would say go ahead and sell into the hype. That's how I like to do things. It's up to you, though, obviously, and nothing I say is financial advice. Another one, Grasp of the Arknight. I did get to play around on Talishar a little bit with Vincent. Pretty cool archetype, very different. Feels Runebladey still, but different. Mid-range, I was really hoping for an OTK defensive build, but I can see that being boring and uninteractive, so I'm kind of glad where they landed with it. They do a really good job of the trade-off with the weapon and the cards and how you do your system of play. It reminds me a little bit about how critical the daggers are for the assassins. I really do think that Vincent's, what's that lash called? The thing that they pay 1 life and it creates a rune chant? I think that's going to be a key thing because as an opponent, you want to block it almost every time. While it does 1 damage, it costs them 1 damage, so that's neutral. But what it does is it creates a rune chant that then acts as another damage at some point in the future and a resource for Vincent because of the way she works. That is such an extra bit of value for that 1 damage block. You almost have to block it just to prevent value gain on Vincent with the rune gates and that sort of thing. Going to Grasp of Arknight, obviously this is a key card for Vincent. It will be. It has started to climb. This chart's a lie. If you look at the history, you can see it was 70 last week of last month, 74, and now it's at 96, so it's jumped a little bit. I think it will continue to climb as people start to figure out how Vincent works. I will say one thing that's super balanced about this that I really enjoyed, didn't realize because I didn't really play Runeblade that much. This costs 1 for each rune chant you have. Vincent requires you to create a rune chant at the beginning of her turn because of her banish ability, create a rune chant. And so this will always cost 3 at minimum, and depending on how many you've stacked, putting another one on there may be unobtainable. So you want a blue in your deck that comes out every time if you're going to be able to afford this, and that will allow you to pay for a 2 rune chant rune gate for free. So if you have a blue and a rune gate and nothing else, you block with the other 2 cards, then you're pretty good. You have something going on each turn. Now, does that outpace other decks? My feeling is no right now. I think on average you end up around 12 to 13 damage, which just doesn't keep up with the high damage output things. So I think what ends up happening is you have to balance it out with gambits such as the flail in order to force cards out of hand, slow them down, make them make decisions that they're not sure about, and then Vincent can gain value over time that way. I don't know. I am no expert, especially in Runeblade, but I am having fun learning it. It's a lot of fun. So anyways, I expect this to continue to climb. Storm Striders, we talked about a few cards or areas that didn't get support that are probably going to see downticks. This is one of those samples and situations. The current listing is 115. Last sold was 130. So it tells you something. Market is down on wizards, and I can tell you our local wizards we're all very upset with the cards once we saw the release. They feel that they're completely suppressed, and it's probably true. I believe it was a combination of Prism and some other cards that essentially just shut them down. Maybe it was generics, I can't recall. But so Wizards are going to be very difficult to play, and therefore Stormstriders are going to go down. So I wouldn't buy this just yet. Not financial advice, of course, but my thought is that it's going to continue to decline as people realize in their metas, their local metas, that they just aren't going to have a matchup that's worth playing. So I think the Wizards are going to go into hibernation for a while, giving them a good chance to have a steal of a buy for things like this. Same thing with Guardian. I didn't bring it up for this particular review, but look at the tectonic plating in any Guardian equipment, because that stuff is dirt cheap right now. Shout out to Stackswell. He pointed out the shield was really dirt cheap. Yeah, he does really good content. Go check him out. I really like it. He inspires me pretty regularly when he puts stuff out. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good look. That's an interesting part of the market, whatever it is, right? So check out his content. He's got good stuff on that. Crown of Providence. I think this is a key one. Late in spoiler season, it was revealed there was a reprint. So we will have a reprint of this. I don't know how much that's going to impact price. You can see that the sales price has come down over the last day by $30 or so. This is all yesterday, right? No, day before. All the sales, 225, 230, and then 200, and then before that, I guess it was 200. So I guess it went up and down. It's kind of floating in a range, but I would just say that there's a new version in town, and that will slowly decay the price of this. Usually when we get reprints, it's not a huge decay, especially if it's a highly useful card, but a minor decay over time. So that's it for the cards. Let's jump into the charts real quick. Unlimited is fairly boring, and WTR just kind of sitting flat, which is fine. Arc. We are sitting flat as well. Premium is tightening. Crew has fallen off a cliff here. Premium jumped. Expect that to follow. Or to rebound really fast. Like I said, this is that steal, that deal, that unexpected situation. I don't know if it will hold up or continue to collapse though. That's the problem. So at your own risk, at the buyer's own risk, right? Monarch, another situation. Unlimited just fell off a cliff for some reason. Massive premium jump here, right? So what do? I'm not sure what the best answer is, because this is the box price. Cracking and selling doesn't make sense individually, and frankly, if you actually, you know what, I think I have a case. I don't know if I have individual boxes. I'll have to look at my inventory. If I have individual boxes, I might crack them for the singles. If I have a case, I might just leave it, because premium's so strong. That would be the way to sell it, is out of a case format if things happen. Tales of Aria has a little bit of a rebound, but the boxes are falling off a cliff. We've seen this before multiple times where it drops down really, really low. Considering this is the historic low we've seen, if you're looking for Tales cards, now may be the time to get it. It's just a bit of a discount. It won't last forever. It never does. But it will be a while probably before it goes back up. Expect to get punched in the face, as Rudy says, right? WTR first isn't really worth reporting on because it's kind of artificial. Same with Arc. Let's jump to Crew. We were talking about that decay, so we are still floating very basically above this level. So we're only a couple hundred. I guess I said 2,000 would be the line. I'm going to call it 2,200 instead. Based on this history, I expect that to be where we get a bounce. If we don't, that's where the discount begins. If it goes below that price, I would expect it to be a solid thing. If we hit resistance at this 1850 range, that would be a secondary area where it might bounce. If we miss both of those, then it's a deep discount in my opinion. Premium is declining because the box prices are going up at the same time, so I expect this to tighten. We did talk about this last week, how majority of history it was very close, and then it had this massive jump in premium, and now they're connecting. I would expect that to come back to this sort of pattern. That's what happens when you get these giant jumps. You get this crazy market distortion. Moving on to Mon first edition. This one's interesting. Tightened up. We did talk about this last week, how it's mostly tight, and then there's a bit of a spread in a couple places, and that it might tighten up. It sure did. It just closed that gap, and nothing really special there other than going back to the norm. And the Brontosaurus chart. Nothing here. Yeah, it's just declining a little bit. It's Tales of Aria. That's what happens, especially when there's not elemental hype to be had. Everfest, different type of Brontosaurus. What do we call this? We should give this a different name. Anyways, it's same decline, boring. No one wants it right now. That's fine. It's all elemental stuff, and we are not doing elemental stuff, so I get it. It's going to be an interesting cycle as we go through the different things. Just thinking about this a little bit, you'll have the elemental hype time frame, and you'll have the light and shadow time frame. I'm sure there'll be other ones. Draconic obviously is existent now, and then whatever comes of the next few talent systems. How many there will be, we have no idea. But I think we're getting close to finishing out a full cycle. We're halfway around the clock of the back of the card, as they say. All right. Uprising, yeah, major gap here. Sheesh, look at that. Oh, I guess it's not. it's exaggerated. It's only a couple bucks, but it looks like a major gap. Fine, nothing crazy with Uprising. Dynasty, yeah, just the same thing. Map and continue to fall off with the cases. And then Outsiders, we're seeing it kick up. Now, usually this would be my sign to buy, but I actually already had it. I got some distro pricing a while ago. So I have it on my shelf, but this would be my typical buy-in time on a recent set that's now getting boring. It's starting to kick up on individual box prices. You can get that discount. I suspect we'll see a deeper discount at another phase. It will happen where Outsiders just gets kind of boring, right? And falls off, because that's what happens. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the hype cycle and how it goes. All right, that's it for this time. If you like the content, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, tell me what I did wrong, hashtag me you suck, or whatever you want to hashtag me, and I will laugh at it because I love getting the comments and the hashtags and such. So until next time, guys, I hope you're out there cracking packs, playing games, and enjoying this hobby that we love. Have a good one.